Hey everyone, my name is Levin. I got some news for you today, so let's just get right into things. So, Fortnite Comp came out and announced that DreamHack Anaheim will be played on an older version of Fortnite, right? Everybody was kind of panicking because they came out and obviously said that, hey, the reason why this season's been so long is because we got a new physics engine that we want to move the game over to, and everyone's concerned because that's going to be a big change, right? They might not get things right the first time, so the game might feel a bit different. It's a new season, things are going to be different, right? It's probably going to be a new loot pool, different things like that, different changes to the map. And the biggest problem and concern that people have always had with Epic Games when it comes to Fortnite events is the fact that it seems like we always have some sort of new version of the game, some sort of broken patch, some sort of broken version of the game being played right before events, right? People often criticize Epic and say, hey, you guys just use your events as promotion for your game, right? You add all these crazy things, you add the sword, and then people have to play Winter Royale with you. You add all these crazy things to bring attention to your game, to bring promotion and media attention to your game. Now, the reason why this is so good is because, look, we actually have a Fortnite competitive event, a big Fortnite competitive event, which is actually going to be played on an older version of the game from the version of the game that will be out at the time of that event. This opens up so much more potential and possibilities to show that Epic are finally learning a lesson, man. They're not going to be messing us over with a new game played on the day of an event, right? That is, it gives the players time to prepare and time to actually practice, right? If the game had actually been played on the version that would have been out at the time of DreamHack Anaheim, it would have meant that for some players, they wouldn't have even had a chance to play the new game, right? With the way traveling schedules work, certain players would be traveling in maybe the day before the event and whatnot, and it could have meant that they might have had to play a whole event without ever playing the version of the game that they were playing. So obviously this is a great thing that Epic and Fortnite Competitive's team are doing to kind of ensure that, the game has some sort of competitive integrity involved. Obviously, this was so great, right? Because the whole community reacted to this so positively, right? From every comp, player to analyst to pundit to caster was just commenting on how great of a change this is and how big of a deal this is and how Epic are finally showing us that they've learned their lesson from all of the past events. On the topic of events, I want to get to how many amazing events we have coming up in Fortnite in the next couple of days, really, actually. Tomorrow, as of the day I'm recording this, we will have the NFL, Fortnite Streamer Bowl that's going to be going on. Some of your favorite competitive Fortnite players and favorite Fortnite players in general are going to be playing with some of your favorite NFL players. If you pay attention to the NFL, regardless, I think you should all check it out. It's going to be on Twitch Rivals. I'm going to give it a watch myself. Should be pretty interesting. Should be pretty fun. Obviously, the whole drafting process that they did for it was pretty funny. I know Barter posted a clip of it with Tfue, and he was a bit upset about who he had to pick. But regardless, should be a great event to watch. And that should be happening as of tomorrow, like I said. And also this weekend, on the 1st and 2nd of February, we're going to have the Australian Open Fortnite Summer Smash event. It's going to be a great event. Some of the best competitive Fortnite players from around the world have been invited. Some of the best players from the Chinese region have qualified to the event through a stage of qualifiers that they went through. And it's going to be one of the first big international events that we've had in a long time. I believe it's actually the biggest event in terms of prize pool that we've had since the World Cup. So this is going to be a big deal. Everybody should be watching this. If you care about competitive Fortnite, you should be watching this event. I know it's going to have a broadcast. It's going to be casted, so be sure to watch. Some of our favorite casters and broadcasters are going to be there. So should be a great event. Hopefully some of your players do well, right? It's going to be interesting to see how the Chinese players, are kind of incorporated into the event, how they do, how they succeed. I know we haven't seen a lot of the Asian region be very successful in Fortnite, right? It'll be interesting to see with so many OCE players competing, how they stack up against some of the better EU and NA talent that's attending the event. I will say though, I'm a bit, some of the players from EU and NA who are going, I would say aren't necessarily all the best players in our regions, right? I definitely would have liked to see some other EU players be attended, but, we got the likes of Benji Fishy and Nyrox attending, and they are great players. So regardless, it's going to be a great event, one of the more competitive events we will see towards the first half of this year, right? Obviously, we have Anaheim coming up and the Streamer Bowl coming up. We've had our Cash Cups, but in terms of a serious competitive LAN, this is the best of the best we're going to get probably for a while until Epic announce whatever it is that they want to announce. And speaking of Epic announcing things, right, we've had so many competitive games, right, so many esports announce all the leagues, right. We've had the LEC start, which is League of Legends. We've had the LCS, also League of Legends, the LPL, also League of Legends. We've had Counter-Strike announced, different leagues and things going on. The ESL Pro League was announced, obviously. I know there's a B-side league coming up for Counter-Strike. There's also been stuff for other games. The Overwatch League is going to be starting soon. The COD League has started, right? The CDL, that's already started. And I know for certain that Epic Games have something up their sleeve, right? There's no way Epic Games don't have something up their sleeve. All these big games have been coming out and doing amazing things to start off the year. And I know that Epic are just there watching, like, we are about to top all of these leagues, all of these games, right? When Epic announced the 100 million Fortnite event, that was literally the biggest thing we had seen in esports ever, right? They said 100 million over this season, over the 2018-2019 season. And at the time, that amount of money was more than all games had in 2017 for prize pools, right? So I know Epic have something up their sleeves. So let's just be patient, guys. We know why they've been taking so long when it comes to new season. But in terms of a comp event, I'm sure something big will be coming soon. So let's just wait for that to happen. And I'm super excited to see what goes down with that. So getting into some more important news, Going Rogue, the team that is heavily involved with Dr. Lupo. I think it might be actually owned by Dr. Lupo. I should probably do my fact checking on that. But Rogue are a big organization, one of the bigger organizations in esports, right? They recently picked up Satan. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be a bit confused when I say that. Satan, not actually the devil Satan, Satan as in the guy on Twitter called S8N, Satan. He is a guy who just makes tweets. He brands himself as being Satan, and he's got a load of followers. He's got millions of followers. I think he's on like at 2 million plus followers. Sure, you've probably seen some of his tweets if you're active on Twitter on your timeline at some point or another. Now, they picked him up as a professional tweeter. Now, a lot of people are confused, like, professional tweeter, what is this branding? I know they've been doing, all of this kind of branding, Satan goes rogue and, join us in hell and whatnot. There's been a lot of controversial branding. A lot of people have kind of been giving it some hate. A lot of people have been in support. Now, besides all the branding stuff, I think this is a great move. This has brought them so much attention and so much exposure, right? Especially, I know Rogue is such a big org that their only focus is not Fortnite, right? But when it comes to their Fortnite division, they've not been, one of the better top Fortnite orgs we've seen, right? But yet, with this recent move, this has brought them so much attention, so much exposure. And regardless of that, I think it's a great move, right? I personally would love to see orgs invest more into people outside of players, right? Outside of actual professional players, people who can actually bring your org attention and exposure. That in itself is a big deal. You offer value, right? There's a lot of pro players who, do well in a couple of events and they wonder why they can't get signed because you don't offer much value. This Satan guy, he tweets out something and he attaches Rogue to it, instantly gets a lot of, value, instantly gets a lot of impressions, and at the end of the day, that's the kind of thing orgs are looking for, exposure, something that can build their brand and help them make even more money, right? And he offers that for them. And what do they offer him? He's somebody who's wanted to get verified for a long time. He has millions and millions of followers, but he's never been verified. He tried everything. I know he tried posting a picture of his face and all of these kind of things, right? Things to do to try to get verified. And obviously, that's one of his bigger goals. That's something that he wants. And I am sure that Rogue will be able to get him verified, right? That's one of the big pluses of being with an org. Orgs can usually help get players verified and help people within their orgs get verified in general. So I'm sure he will probably be verified soon as a result of the work that Rogue, help him with. Now, when it comes to the actual branding and people criticizing the way they're doing it, I can understand, right? Me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of this whole Satan branding or whatever it is that they are doing. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think people should hate on it necessarily. I don't think there's a big reason to hate on it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't think it's effective, then, I think that's a bit naive because, to be honest, it has been effective. They got people talking about them. For a lot of companies and a lot of businesses, any sort of exposure is good exposure, right? So I'm sure they don't have a problem with all the people talking about it. As long as you're talking about it, you're doing what they want. You're getting them to talk about their organization, which is exactly what they want. So I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but I don't hate on it. I don't think it's, you do what you like. As long as it's not harmful to anyone, which it isn't, I don't have a problem with it. So good job to Rogue picking up their first professional tweeter. Hey, maybe if you keep on being active, you can become a professional tweeter. A lot of you kids on Fortnite, great at farming impressions, step up your game. Maybe one day you can sign to one of your favorite orgs without even being good at Fortnite. So that's all I have for today. Not too much stuff going on. I'm going to be reviewing the cash cups and giving you some news once all the cash cups are done, letting you know who's won, who's not, and any more news that comes out, I should provide that for you. just wanted to get the small things out, and you know, looking forward to a good weekend of events. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, be sure to like, subscribe for more of these to come out. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me if you guys are going to be watching these events over the weekend, and tell me what you think of Rogue picking up Satan. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, 11-2K. See you guys next time.